All right, my friend, we have to talk. And if you're new here, we may not be friends yet, but we soon will be. Okay. Anyways, once again, the other night I was laying in bed, this time in my hotel room in Dallas. I was there the week before last on a work related trip, and I brought my wife along with me so she can have a little vacation of her own, doing her thing at the pool and the gym, having a good time. However, this particular night that I'm referring to, I was laying in bed, staring into the darkness, listening to the poetic harmony of the humming air conditioner and my wife's breathing. It was quite peaceful, to be honest. However, for about an hour or so, I was laying there thinking about a particular comment I received on one of my videos, which left me wondering about an unspoken transition we all go through at some point in our lives where we no longer are who we used to be and we don't know how to move forward. This is reflected in our minimalist journeys, in our relationships that go sour, and the change we experience because of that, and our career decisions. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? In other words, or at least what I've gathered from this particular comment, is that the old version of us and everything that came along with that is no more. So now what? The more I thought about this, the clearer a specific explanation became. And I believe it has to do with the fact that we're not as equipped as we could be with the tools and best practices to help us move forward. Because to be honest, our attention remains focused on what I've noticed to be a few distinct silos: decluttering, building habits that will quote unquote change your life. And the third being a bit of a miscellaneous catch all for things like personal finance, productivity, and so on. All good things, though, I might add. Each of these silos have a role they play in shaping our journey through life. However, this transition between, the old version of us, who we used to be, and moving forward is where many of us get stuck. And I don't know, maybe after decluttering and organizing your life, you still feel stuck or lost. You don't know what type of hobbies or activities to invest your time in, or what type of job to look for, or what kind of relationships to prioritize in this season. I get it. But the question still remains, how do we move forward? And how do we move forward with the least amount of friction? Throughout my life, and I'm currently 29 right now, almost 30. So, for just about 3 decades, I can say that I've been through some interesting experiences in different situations. Some good, some that could have been better, right? And others that were what they were, whether it was a relationship, a friendship, my career, my decluttering experience, internal beliefs and insecurities, all of it. And throughout these experiences, especially those that could have been better, I remember feeling like the world was ending. Like my world was ending and I didn't know how to move forward. But time after time, like sunrise and sunset, I grew past those the world is ending feeling, right? My journey continued to trek forward. And although in those moments it felt like I wasn't moving forward in life, I was. And it's because life is a journey. There were lessons I learned about life, or better yet, about myself. I was also growing stronger mentally and emotionally. And the more aware I became, the more I realized that our lives are fluid and not rigid, which helps us keep our experiences in perspective. For example, the end of a relationship is not the end of our story. The donation of past possessions is not the end of our identity. It's just a part of our journey. It's a left hand turn according to the GPS. It's how we remember to continue on. Navigating change by itself is its own challenge. However, in the context of this conversation, there is change that comes from decluttering our lives, be it the clothes we no longer wear or the relationships we've outgrown. And as I've said at the beginning of this conversation, that transition, between the version of us we used to be and moving forward is where many of us get stuck. And I believe it's partly because our critical inner voice is speaking louder than anything else in our lives. And we're all human, right? We all have that critical inner voice. But the problem arises when we start to prioritize that voice and the things it's saying. This is the voice that will undermine us when we're up and kick us when we're down, screaming things like, I told you so. You have nothing now. You're boring. You should just forget about relationships and friendships. You're not good enough. You'll never be good enough. I mean, comment below some of the things your critical inner voice keeps chattering about. I'd love to see if there's any similarities among us in this community because I'm sure there are. But see, like I've said, we're all human and we all have that critical inner voice. But see, it's our job and it's our responsibility to get to know that voice for the enemy it really is and separate it from our real point of view. And you can do this in 5 simple steps. Step number 1 is to identify what your critical inner voice is telling you. Like the examples I just gave, maybe it's saying, I told you so, or you're not good enough. Step 2 is to recognize where that voice is coming from. Maybe it's coming from a place of fear or a place of worry. I really want you to dig deep and look deep within yourself and figure out where that inner voice is coming from. Step 3 is understand how that inner voice is influencing your behavior. A very popular example is that your critical inner voice is killing your confidence. Step 4 is to choose how you're going to respond to this voice. Recognizing where it's coming from is one thing, but choosing how to respond and responding correctly is another. But here's the answer. Step 5 is to change the conversation. The next time you find yourself thinking thoughts that aren't necessarily the best, or if you hear that inner voice starting to chatter louder and louder and louder, I want to challenge you to change the conversation because believe it or not, that voice, that conversation is 100% in your control. Whatever your goal or dream is in life, be it to live an intentional life with less, develop authentic, meaningful relationships, or land your dream job in an industry that's completely new to you, whatever it is, if you don't believe that you are worthy of achieving it, you won't. It's as simple as that. See, the reason so many of us never end up fulfilling our full potential in life, despite all the effort we put into decluttering things and purging relationships, watching YouTube videos about building habits, is because we lack confidence. But here's something I want you to remember. Confidence is doubt's kryptonite. Confidence is doubt's kryptonite. I'm gonna say it again. Confidence is doubt's kryptonite. See, regardless of what you want to achieve in your life, and regardless if you feel lost and unsure about how to move forward, hear me when I say this. Don't let conditioned beliefs and false judgment dim your light and tell you that you aren't good enough or any number of other things, because you are. Keep growing on your journey, my friend. Keep learning, and always remember to stay true to you. See you in the next one. Peace.